Okay, graphing linear equations using the intercepts. What are the intercepts of 2x minus 4y equals 8? Well, let's see, what do we know about intercepts? Well, if we do a quick graph, we know that my x and my y intercept, this point right here and this point right here, this would be my y-intercept, and I know that my coordinates of my y-intercept are going to be x is 0, and then y is going to be some number because I'm on my y-axis. And here on my x-intercept, I know that my y value is going to be 0, and then I'm going to have some value for x somewhere along the x-axis. So that's what we're looking for when we're talking about graphing using our intercepts. We're looking for what are those intercepts, what are the values going to be on my x and y axis, and well, I can find that out by inputting what we know, the other value of 0. So let's check this out. Okay, so if I look at my y-intercept first, I know my x value is going to be 0, and then I'm going to have some value for y. So what I can do is I can take my original equation, and I can substitute in 0 wherever there was an x. So I have 2 times 0 minus 4y equals 8. And we know then that, we do know that this is going to 0 out. So I end up with negative 4y equals 8. And of course, divide by my coefficient. And I know that y is going to be negative 2. Okay, so now as I look at my x-intercept, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to plug in a value of 0 for my y because we know it's on the axis. And then I know here then that, of course, that's going to cancel out for any number times 0 is 0. So I'm going to have 2x equals 8. And, of course, x is going to end up equaling 4. So I know here that this intercept is going to be 4, 0, and I know that this intercept is going to be 0, negative 2. And to go ahead and graph that, okay, so here with my on my coordinate plane, if I go ahead and plot first, I'm going to plot my y-intercept, which is going to be 0, and then negative 2. And then when I plot my x-intercept, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3. I'm going to have 4 and 0. And now all I have to do is connect those two points, and I have graphed the equation 2x minus 4y equals 8 by using the intercepts. All right, now continuing that, we're going to look at parallel and perpendicular lines. And what you should have remembered, or what you should have learned long before now, is that we know that parallel lines, I'm using the symbol for parallel, parallel lines, they have what? They have the same slope. So if I have y equals 1/2 x plus 3 and y equals 1/2 x plus 4, I know that these two lines, they are parallel because I have the same slope. So when you graph those, they are going to be running parallel and never touch. Now, on the other hand, when you talk about perpendicular lines, well, we know perpendicular lines, the product of perpendicular lines, the product of their slope equal negative 1. So the slope of one line is basically the negative reciprocal would be a perpendicular slope. So if my slope equals 2/3, then I know that a perpendicular slope is going to equal negative 3/2. So, and if we were to check that, I know that if I have 2/3 times negative 3/2 gives me negative 1. So there is my difference between a parallel and a perpendicular line. So let's see, what can we graph with that? Okay, looking at this example, write an equation of a line parallel to 4x plus 2y equals 7 passing through 4, negative 2. Well, if I want to write it parallel, that should tell me I need to have the same slope, but I haven't necessarily identified what the slope is here yet. So if we take that and we go ahead and put it, I'm going to put it into slope-intercept form. That way I know what my slope is. So real quickly, I have 2y equals negative 4x plus 7, and of course, y equals negative 2x plus 7 halves. So I know then my slope is negative 2, and in this case my perpendicular slope would be, or parallel, any line that I have there, I'm going to have that parallel. So using point slope form, since I now have point and my slope equals negative 2, I'm going to go with y minus negative 2 equals, now my slope is going to be negative 2. And there you have it in point slope form. I have the equation of a line that is parallel and also passes through point 4, negative 2.